What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode and another week of everybody's favorite new podcast. It's the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick. He's Gunk. Gunk, we're really getting down into it into the late stages of the season, like we keep saying. Couple games happening today. Excuse me. Couple games happening today as we're talking here on this rainy Saturday.
Hmm.
We had the Islanders beating the Jets. Who saw that? By a score
I saw
6-3.
after Thursday. I definitely saw that coming.
I
Shit! Oh my
didn't.
God! What a joke Winnipeg is. Holy shit! I thought.
And then I I wouldn't. I would. I don't want to say what a joke. I like Winnipeg.
I know. I like them too, and I'm hoping again. It's one of those teams I probably will root for in the playoffs just because of Toffoli and Miller because of them and stuff. But right now on Thursday we needed that goddamn game and we got it. So
Glad you guys got yours, but
we got ours.
but
Although
the
I wish they would have beaten the Islanders because we really desperately need these teams in front of us to start losing.
yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
we'll talk more
for
about the
this,
Devil season, but it ain't looking
yeah.
good. We'll get into that later. But the other game that was on the early docket that has finished up was Boston and Philly, and Philly won 3-2. And that leads us into what I wanted to talk about today to start the show with Philly. Is we talked Torts last episode saying I'm not fucking leaving. He said he was
Hmm.
staying. He said he was going to stay on the bench,
What?
and and all of that happened. And then he started scratching players,
Oh, and not even players.
captains. Started
We're not even
scratching
captains.
captains.
We're not even talking play like just some scrub from like the fourth line that he just wants to replace. He's scratching his captain. I mean, come on.
I,
Yeah, I can see you want to shake up the team a little bit, but really,
no,
do you
this
want to lose the
yeah.
locker room?
No, you're losing the locker room for a captain you named captain last month. You
Yeah,
ain't
I
lost shit. I
yeah.
I like the move. If you're not
Okay.
content with the way your players are playing, you have more than full right to say, "Hey, you're going to sit for a game or two." Cuz like people are trying to say, "Oh, Torts doesn't know how to coach in the NHL anymore because he keeps doing this." No, this has been something he's been doing since well before anybody that's saying this shit like has genuinely cared about hockey. Like this isn't anything new from Torts. And what is he gonna? What's fucking Couturier gonna do? He's not gonna say anything. Torts will sit you longer. This is classic John Tortorella that we're seeing here, and people can't seem to understand that this is just how he is. It's been granted, it's come a long way since he was trying to fight through fucking opposing teams in Vancouver to fight their coaches and shit. But I mean, this is classic Torts maneuvers here. Like this isn't anything crazy. This is him holding his players accountable. He said when he became the coach of this team, there's an issue in the locker room with accountability and mindset. He's holding his team accountable, and now people are upset. I'm never going to be on the side of Philly, but like I'll always be on the side of Torts. If you're upset about this, you do not know who John Tortorella is as a coach, who has been as a coach. Like, he's multiple years, he has been one of the best coaches in the NHL, and you're going to try to tell him he's wrong?
Like I said, I agree with that point. It's just more. I feel like it's just more like you're on the streak. You're not doing well. I mean, I can understand scratching the player, but when it's your captain, I mean that does resonate through the locker room. I mean, maybe not even like in a physical sense. I mean, his gameplay might not be up to par, but it's more the like if you're gonna name him your captain and then you're gonna cut him a month or two later. I mean, it's weird again, but again, you're talking to one of the out of the box coaches in the NHL. So, I mean, apparently it worked. They beat Boston today, so he must have got his message across.
Yeah, they beat Boston
So,
with Couturier in the lineup, which I think is funny.
right,
But even then, you're trying, you're trying to compete here. You're trying to hold on to this spot that nobody expected you to have. You got to try to find a spark some way. If that's what it took, I mean, he comes back into the lineup. The team beats Boston in a pretty decent game. I like the move at this point. If this is how it's going to play out, if you can build wins off of this, because like 5-3-2 in their last 10, which they're on, isn't terrible.
no, it's
Like
not.
like the Rangers are only 6-3-1, which is pretty much the same.
Right.
So like they're they're able to do it, and like if that was the move that they needed to take, fuck yeah. I mean, it's
Oh
about
no, like I said,
with
totally.
it's it's a weird move with 10 games left in the season, but like Washington's cut their lead close. It ain't that far
Oh no.
off. The
Oh
Islanders are
no. There.
close. The Devils
Oh
are
no.
even kind of close.
There's teams there are teams that are flying that are coming up the standings right now. Like I said, Washington's a really good example. I mean their goal differential is ridiculous and they're right in the mix. I mean, it's I think they what is there like a 30 to 40
They're
point
minus
30
30.
yeah, minus 30 goal against and you are right there in the mix. I mean, literally, what are they? 2 points out of the mix right now, or
Yeah.
they might be 4 points now after after Philly won today.
Well,
But
it's yeah, it's
and I mean, they're building momentum. I mean, they're really playing well. I mean, I watched the highlights of a Caps game. I think it was the last game when Krujanevich came back from um, the Hurricanes after he got traded on at the trade deadline. I mean, it was a very nice
wait, who?
Krujanevich, right?
Kuch.
Did I
Oh,
say it wrong again?
Kuznetsov.
Kuznetsov. All right. Here we go with the fucking names again.
I mean, hey,
Jesus
if you
Christ. That's what I
if you,
meant.
you mix two players together, I don't want to hear.
Really,
We're 6 minutes into the show and we already got
we,
Kuznetsov.
you knew who I meant, but it was very again. I especially because he was there for a while, so I can understand it. Like the Devils doing it like for Toffoli and Miller. I mean, shit. They only played like literally like 60 games for the team, and they got like these packages set up when they come back. I
Yeah,
mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but
that's what I've seen a lot of people hating on video packages for players, and I've started to as well. If you got a player as a trade deadline rental and they didn't sign with your team, there's no need to thank them. Especially
no,
if you want to cup with them, sure, maybe. But like if like the like if you're any kind of team and you had a playoff rental defenseman and you say, "Oh, welcome back and thank you," they're not gonna skate around the ice and go clapping for everybody.
no,
I like the
no.
Rangers played Florida a couple weeks ago and they said, "Welcome back, Nico Mikola," the fucking second guy we got with Tarasenko.
Yeah, yeah. These package, like I said, these packages are getting ridiculous.
And
Every
it
time I
just
see,
and
I mean, I
Mikola's
don't
just
care if
kind of
you
like, huh?
again,
Like,
I don't care if you put like the online thing, like if you want to post it on your social media and stuff. I mean, I get that. Just because social media is a 24-hour business, so you want to keep content up and you want to keep your name out there. So I can understand like doing these packages for like social medias. But when you go to a game and the players there, it's kind of weird because they're on the opposite team now and they're trying to focus on winning a game and then you're like pausing the game to basically not call them out, basically like, put them in, front and center, for another team. And I understand, like I
if it's
said,
a if it's a
if it was
long
years and
term
years and
player,
years,
yeah.
right? If it's years and years and years, that's totally understandable. But somebody that played literally half a season with you and comes back, I really don't feel like he needs a standing ovation.
No.
Yeah, don't like I said, don't get me wrong. Tyler Foley was really good for the Devils this year, especially during some of those rough times where they couldn't score for anything, and he would score goals. A couple big goals here and there, but. A video package for him and Colin Miller. That one was even worse because my man was scratched for like half the season and couldn't get into Lindsey Ruff's friggin' lineup. And you got a package for him. I mean, give him the thank you. Give him the thank you on Twitter. Give him thank you, Colin, for what you did. That's fine, but stop during the thing. It's basically just filler right now. I mean, it really is
And
just like,
you
can you
weren't
just play
here
Mr.
that long
Brightside again?
ago. Like you
Yeah.
like you like you were here like a couple weeks ago. It's only been 3 weeks since the trade deadline. You
Yeah,
haven't been
exactly.
gone that long. We don't miss you that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you haven't been long enough. You haven't gone long enough to miss your shit.
I
But
don't
yeah, I
think he
find
was here long enough for people to like him. like
but yeah, the
but
video packages are hilarious
yeah,
nowadays.
but going back to a couple teams in the playoff hunt from 4 points down and 6 games out. Tom Wilson suspended for
Oh,
fucking meatball.
oof.
This fucking loser is.
He is lucky. He is so lucky that it wasn't worse. It could have been way worse. That
With
talk about egregious. Oh
with
man.
11 games left in the season, I would have told him to sit.
Oh no, absolutely.
Like if I'm the head of the department of player safety, I'm telling you to sit because like what the fuck? What are you doing? There's no way anybody could try to argue that it may have looked intentional or at first, but even then you look at this play and you just go and you ask yourself what the fuck are you doing. I've asked this question so many fucking times in the same tone of voice on this podcast over the past couple weeks, over the past couple months that we've been doing this. And it's always the same. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then try to hide it. Like after he did it, it was like,
Yeah, he
oh,
tried to look. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna hug you. I'm sorry, man. I'm
I'm like,
sorry.
yeah, no, I only took my fucking stick and swung it at your fucking head. I mean, come on now,
And
get
it wasn't.
serious.
It was like a full.
Oh yeah, no,
Like it wasn't even like a. It wasn't even. It wasn't
no,
like a check swing. He was
no.
swinging for the fences.
He was swinging for the fences. He looked like fucking Frank Thomas out there, fucking swinging for the fences and shit, man. I swear, it was ridiculous. Oh, but yeah, he totally deserved it. The 6 games, totally deserved it for that. I mean, you can't have that. I
No,
mean,
you can't. Like,
I mean,
I,
it's not even like you can't even like. There's no justification from any fan
no,
to say, "Oh, that was something worthy." I mean, you just can't do that kind of shit no more.
no, you shouldn't do that shit. What do you mean no more? You shouldn't do that ever.
No more. You can do it
You
anytime, but
shouldn't
yeah,
do
you
that
can't do
ever.
it anymore.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Like you're actively, I feel like with the play that you made in this suspension are hurting your team's chances of being able to do anything now.
No,
Like
absolutely.
you're a game over the Islanders. They're only 2 points back and can take you over and can take over Detroit real quick. And the Devils aren't that far off either.
No.
Like they can like the Devils and Sabres can hop past them in a wild card race and try to get something going.
Oh yeah,
And
especially the way
like
they've been playing recently. Absolutely.
yeah, so like for Washington, I feel like this may be the breaking point on their season, and it's where they finally bow out and say, "Hey, we're not going to be capable of doing anything."
Right. No,
Because
absolutely.
who's to say who's to say he doesn't do this shit in the playoffs? You know he's gonna. That's the
Oh,
whole point of
absolutely.
Washington Capitals playoff hockey is for Tom Wilson to go out and do this shit.
And he
So
and again, he's notorious for doing shit like this. I mean, you know, it's not his first time with the league, in the league office and shit, for a meeting. So that just tells you everything you need to know right there. I mean, shit.
yeah, and like it really does because especially this is the team's like third leading goal scorer. Uh,
Let's see.
yeah, he's their third leading goal scorer.
Jesus Christ. Which is great, like I said, this is why and being in the playoff, like I said, and still being in a playoff hunt with him being your third scorer. I mean, shit. I mean, you gotta be doing a really great
Well,
coaching
you
job
got
this
lucky
year.
that Ovi finally decided to wake up and realize that the season started and that he should fucking play some hockey and score goals.
Well, he's an older gentleman. He had to take a little nap during the beginning of the season. You got to give the old man and his salt and pepper hair his due. He just needed a little time to wake up. I mean, as an older, you don't understand this, you young kids. As an older gentleman, you need to take little naps here and there. So, Ov, if you want to take a little nap, I totally understand. You're starting to come on now when it's more important. So, all good.
Nah, there's records to be broken and he's fucking losing it.
Yeah,
Uh, for him to wake up now is genuinely pathetic for somebody of his skill level. I don't care what age you are. Like you gotta be able to kick it into gear.
I mean, I just root for the old guy. You know what I mean? Good for him. Shit, let him score all the goals. Hopefully, I don't know if he'll catch them, but it's gonna be really close. So
Uh,
we'll see.
at
I
the
mean, you got to
pace
give
he's
it.
scoring, I think he could. Like it would probably take a year and a half, but I think he could.
No, absolutely.
Because
Which is funny because, like I said, I just saw that it's been 30 years since Gretzky beat Howe's record for goals.
oh
So
shit,
we're up on the anniversary of that. So I mean, this is a 30-year friggin' this is a 30-year record where he's trying to break here. I mean, I hope he goes for it. And again, the only GOAT in any sport is Gretzky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would have to
Sorry.
agree with you.
You got to watch some of these TikToks with their GOAT conversations of like who's the greatest of all time in any sport. And Gretzky in his first 7 years had 7 MVPs. I mean, first 7 years he won MVPs. No other player has done that in any sport. So GOAT. Gretzky is the GOAT of all GOATs. I'm sorry. And anybody that likes basketball, baseball. I had people that say like Nolan Ryan's the greatest of all time. I've had people say, of course Jordan and LeBron now and stuff like that. And of course, a Brady and Mahomes and
I
shit.
could
But
I could
you
give you
you can't
I
be
could
what
cons-
Gretzky did.
I can I could argue Jordan. I could argue Brady. Who the fuck?
No,
New headset. Sorry. Who
that's
the
okay.
fuck? Patrick Mahomes. Who the
Oh
fuck?
wow.
You
Well,
gotta be
again,
delusional.
again, you also on all these sports talk shows now you getting all these 25, 30 year olds that's all they know is Patrick Mahomes and LeBron and stuff, and they don't understand. I mean, like, again, I'm going back to TikTok. I'm on a social media kick today. I guess I've been watching too much goddamn TikTok, but anyway, so yeah, it's like they're making fun of Jordan for like 1 quarter. Have you seen it? It's like something like, did they do this? Have they? It's something you gotta look up. Like, have they done this in the '90s? And it was basically, I think it was game one of the '98 finals against the Jazz, and apparently Jordan had a bad quarter. He was a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots, and basically, like I said, this young kid was on there, basically shitting on him, like, "Oh, LeBron would never do this. LeBron never do that." And then literally somebody like an older gentleman was like just shitting on LeBron, and it's been going on with different players and different sports nowadays. So it's an interesting little subject to pick up. Just again, if you're bored, just watching your TikTok instead of watching cooking videos and people eating food. Watch a little sports talk.
Yeah, I agree. Check us out at What the Puck Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yes, and this is the
We would
first place you
appreciate it.
go because
Always.
we got the meat here basically.
Yeah.
We got the NHL meat.
And pretty soon, probably next season, gang, I'll be hoping to get a little quick content update in the middle of the episode. I'll be hoping to get all the podcasts out on a whole bunch of different audio stuff. I know a lot of people are probably tired of having to sit down and watch every episode every week, but we'll be hoping to get audio stuff out there probably next season with the way the season's winding down at this point. But yeah, hopefully we can look for you guys can look for more content like that coming up soon.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, let's get back to hockey. The
And
Devils tonight pick up a game at home against the Ottawa Senators. Uh,
And okay, I was gonna say we're right back to exactly where we were last week when I told you when we were playing Arizona. We were talking. This is gonna be the same damn conversation we're gonna have. I told you last week, don't ever bank on a win. Never bank on wins with this team. Sure enough, what did they do? Go out in Arizona, 4-1 loss, shit the bed, most ridiculous game of the year. Ugh. And again, I was texting you back and forth, and you were like, "Yep, 1-0." I was like, "Yep." What did I tell you? It's the best bet. It's the best bet in sports. Although, like I said, the last couple of games they have scored first, and I think the last 3 games they've scored first.
yeah,
So you got to give it to them. The LA game, I'm not gonna think that again. That was they're up 1-0. LA is a pretty good team. I mean, they might, especially in the West now, they might not make the playoffs, but they are a good team, and you got to I mean, a 3-1 loss is not that bad. I mean, again, it was 2-1. Jake Allen has been standing on his head in the last 3-4 games. It's exciting, and finding out that he could have waived his no trade clause in like January really like irks the shit out of me because I'm like, we could have had you earlier in the year and helped out maybe and kind of stop the bleeding with these two fucking numbnuts that we had in goal. It's frustrating, but it keeps, like I said, the last two games, especially, like I said, especially the Winnipeg game, gave you that glimmer of hope because again, on Tuesday they beat the Penguins, which apparently they always just beat the Penguins now. That's just their thing. They
Who won
basically have the
some?
Penguins number. I mean, they've won five straight games against the Pens, but the Winnipeg game really impressed me, and they looked again. I said it last week. They looked like the team that I was expecting all year. Fast, young, going to the net, scoring goals. Timo has been ridiculous, and I don't want to hear
Took
any of
him
these
long
people out there
enough.
that any of these people out here that wanted to ship him off somewhere. I told you, got to get him healthy, got to get him going, and sure enough, they put him up on the first two lines. He's working with Heischer again. He's working with Brat. He's working with the top guys. And what is he doing? Producing like it's no tomorrow. I mean, he's up to 22 goals now for the season. He has a chance to make 30. I mean, for somebody that's, they're going to say, oh, had a really crappy season. I mean, he's going to at least score maybe 25 this year. Right, yes, it's not what you're expecting, but it's a good building block going into next year. And again, I still have that slim hope of a playoff spot, but again, it's one of those that teeters every game. It's like, yeah, they
But I
look
have a
like they
question
could.
for you.
What's up?
If Timo's only starting to produce now and you're content with that, what do you do if he just doesn't keep up this way? Like if he comes out next season and starts doing the same thing, what do you do? Like then I'm curious, what do you do then? Like because it's
Again,
because it can't just be every season. Oh, he's got to warm up and then he warms up in March.
right.
Like
I
that's
don't think.
Mika's job.
See, I don't think it's a warming up thing. I think he was just hurt. I think there's something again with that. I think it was the Trouba hit him the first Rangers game. Was it that one where he went out? I know he.
Uh,
Of course, we know of the game last year. In the playoff series, but I think he put a hit on him during the first regular season game this year, and he got hurt. And
maybe I don't
again, he
remember.
didn't look the same for the first part of the year, the whole second 2/3 of the year. He didn't look the same. He didn't look tough. He didn't look like he was going crashing. He was very hesitant. And if you look over the last like 15, 20 games since he's been back healthy, he looks like the Timo that we got from San Jose, going to the net, being that force in front of the net. That is what we need, especially with skill players like Jack, Nico, Luke Hughes, people that Jesper Bratt that can move around, skate around, with speed and well, I'm not gonna say with accuracy because Jack Hughes is not accurate at all. Oh my God, whew. Does
But
he
people
throw
pay to
fucking
watch him
pucks at the
play.
net? Holy shit! But yeah, he's a good compliment for this team. And again, I think it was just an injury thing. I can't see anything but that because he's been constant for the last so many years, and he just didn't fall off right away. I mean, I can't see it, so I'm gonna attribute it to injuries. We'll see what happens next year. Like I said, next year is next year. Let's go one game at a time. Let's keep him going, keep him on the first line with Heischer, and you know his team is starting to come around. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens tonight at Ottawa because this is the trap game that I was talking about last week with Arizona. Let's see how they come out tonight. If they come out and put on the performance that they did against Winnipeg and the Penguins, then I'll have a lot more confidence, with this last month coming up. If they come out and crap the bed tonight, then it's gonna be like, well, you know, it is what it
It
is. Let the
makes
season play out,
Yeah,
and
because it makes it rough playing the Islanders tomorrow.
right,
You're in Toronto on Tuesday, and then you're in Buffalo on Friday. Those
right.
are three teams battling.
Battling it ahead of you, so you need these points. These are desperate. These are desperate points coming up. These 8 points are really big. I know. I was looking at the rest of the schedule. I think we have 12 games left. I mean, I think literally the best shot we'd have to go basically 10-2. And I did the old school NFL. Each game. Okay, if we win this one, we can win this one. We can lose this one. We can win this one. And again, 10-2 would put them in a really good spot right now, and would give them a chance. But again, you got to worry about what everyone does in front of you too. That, especially being behind by so many points, you got to be looking up at the standings and scoreboard watching and seeing what other teams do to get you back up, to where you belong. Right now, they're fifth. They're fifth. They're fifth place. I think I think it's 6 or 7 points out right now with 12 to go. It's going to be a huge task, but I'm enjoying it. If they can give me the last couple games of hockey that I've seen, then go for it. At least I'll be excited about going into next season.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely a stretch definitely needs to a stretch definitely needs to start building here, and it needs to be hot for a while,
Oh,
because you
absolutely.
have the month of April is not easy.
Oh no.
Game against the Rangers, game against the Predators, two games against the Leafs. Yeah, it's the only easy games I could probably say the Devils have in the month of April is
None. None. There's no games.
the second game, not the second game of the month, that's against the Rangers, but the 2nd of April, the Tuesday against Pittsburgh, is probably the only game that. And then
Yeah.
the only other way I could say a game is easy is depending on tonight, is how you go against Ottawa, because they play the first Saturday in April against Ottawa in Ottawa. So you got to see
Yeah.
how they do tonight.
And again, it's a consistency thing. They got to get consistently, they got to play well on a consistent basis. They haven't had that streak of like 6, 7 games where it's been like, you go 6-0-1, or you go 5-0-2, or 5-1-1, or something like that. They haven't been. It's been again, like I said, it's been Jekyll and Hyde. This team is the in Pickety. It, they are the
Piggity.
Jekyll in Pickety. Yeah, no, don't worry me. Again, people, I'm waking up. Just give me a chance. I'm trying to wake up here. But no, like again, it's the Jekyll and Hyde syndrome with this team. It's ridiculous. You don't know what you're getting every game. You don't know what team is going to show up, and I just want if you're bad, at least be constantly bad. At least I know what I'm getting. Don't
Yeah, if you're gonna
don't,
suck,
don't
suck full
if
time.
you're gonna suck hard, at least go. Try to go get a draft pick. Go fucking go tank then. But which I hate. I hate the tanking bullshit, especially with this lottery.
There's no tanking.
They,
The Sharks are just bad.
they are just terrible.
The only team I could say that's maybe tanking is Chicago. You have enough talent to be able to win a couple more games. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But
But like
yeah,
no, San Jose is just bad. Like there's
no,
no Ottawa's just bad. Like there are
no,
teams that are just
absolutely.
bad in the NHL.
Which is why again I worry about today because you say that and then I'm gonna sit here and it's gonna be 9:30 and it's gonna be friggin' 4-2 or something and I'm gonna be going fucking crazy because they lost to fucking Ottawa. Which again, if you go back to this Devils season and you look at every game that they should have won, the San Jose, the Ducks, these other games against these lower caliber teams that they should have won. They win half these games. They are in the playoffs. They are literally like the first wild card team if they win these games that they should have won. And again for a fan, that's the games that drive you bonkers is when God you walk into a game and all right, we got a great chance. We're gonna win this game. No doubt about it. And then you come out and put a pathetic performance together, and it's just heartbreaking for a fan for any sport. It's heartbreaking for a fan to see this kind of team. So, like I said, for me, they're rolling with Allen again tonight. They're rolling with the same lineup basically from the Winnipeg game. Let's go. Let's go see what we can do tonight. Let's put Ottawa out of their goddamn misery and let's gain some points here, folks. I mean, seriously,
Yeah, you need the point. You need the points
need
in
to
bed. But
desperately. You desperately.
another team that desperately needs points is what the fuck?
Find your moment. Find togetherness
Oh my.
at Hilton.
Okay, an ad started playing on my laptop to the side here, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
What the puck? Sponsored by Hilton.
Oh, it's fucking Stat News. My
Yeah.
Shout out StatMuse for all your fucking sports stats. Just not while you're doing a fucking podcast, I guess.
Guess not.
Before I was rudely interrupted during my introduction to the next story that we're talking about.
Yes.
Team that desperately needs points, and I'm surprised that I'm saying this at this point in the season. It's them.
The Rangers.
Desperately.
1 point only ahead. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it's not concerning, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's something. It's definitely gonna be a lead that you're gonna see either lost tonight, or I feel like the Rangers, if they win tonight against Florida, win the division for the rest of the season,
Okay.
because they are going to be able, they'll be able to try and build some momentum, like continuing off through the rest of the season with this, like with a win like this big, because you got some big games coming up.
Oh yeah.
You play Philly in New York, so that's a decent home game to have.
Yes.
But then you have to go fight a beast over in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not getting any easier
No,
throughout the
but
rest of the year.
But like you said though, they said the next 2 out of 3. I mean, the Philly game might be I mean, it's gonna be a good game, but like you said, Colorado and Florida. I mean, those are the games that this is gonna establish how the playoffs are gonna go for the
Nah,
Rangers this
standing
year.
on my morals, you got to beat Philly.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Well,
It would get
you got to
full
beat
Philly.
not even fuck Philly at this point. If Carolina does get past you and takes first in the division, you're playing Philly, most likely.
Right.
Unless the Caps or somebody fly up into third, then you're playing Washington or the Islanders. You're probably
Right.
playing Philly.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to have to see how they play, especially on your home ice, because that's where games 1, 2, and fucking 7 are going to be played.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are probably the most important games that you guys got to come through for. So
And it's gonna be rough for you guys because I'm looking at the Carolina schedule. I mean, they played Boston a couple times, but that's really it for them. I mean, they play Toronto tomorrow at 6, but then they have winnable games against Pittsburgh, Detroit, Montreal. I mean, Washington, Columbus, St. Louis, the Blackhawks, and Columbus again. I mean, those are all. Especially the way the Carolina Hurricanes are playing, those are winnable games. So you've really got to be on your toes in the next month or so to even hold the one spot in the Metro.
I don't think it means that much to the team. And honestly, it shouldn't. You should just be trying to just go into every game, not like watching the standings, because it's not good.
No, absolutely.
Like you're playing games that are close. Like you're losing, but you're not losing by much. The last game that I could actively say the Rangers played a bad game was in Tampa.
Right.
They played fantastic in that first period, like I had mentioned, and then just kind of went to sleep. We've been talking about waking up the entire episode. They went to sleep.
Right.
And picked it up with a couple good games in Pittsburgh and against the Islanders, and then they just got Connor Hellebucked against I almost said Vegas. God, please never Connor Hellebuck be on Vegas. They don't.
Oh my
deserve
God.
More. Yeah, and then they get Connor Hellebucked against I keep on wanting to say Vegas or Vancouver. Winnipeg. Winnipeg doesn't exist to me apparently, and as it
Peg, baby. Don't fuck with the peg, man. Come on now. Can't be fucking with the peg.
Yeah, no, I don't want anybody from Winnipeg coming after me for this.
You know who's gonna come after you? Fucking Chris Jericho. He's gonna come fucking give you a code breaker.
Yeah, no, there's gonna be no Cape Canaveral for anybody after this. But then they go into Boston and they play a fantastic game in Boston.
Yeah.
It was it was one of those games, and I've noticed it more and more across a bunch of different hockey games that I've watched, not even just Ranger games. When the broadcaster mentions the name of a player, and I just happen to think to myself, "Oh, that's an interesting name, or that's a silly name." They are going to score a fucking goal. They are going to get on the score sheet somehow. This fucking guy on Boston, Justin Brazeau, scored his 4th goal of the season to tie the game at 2 in the 3rd period on Thursday night. Apparently, this guy is, like, decent and is finally starting to make it in the NHL. He's like 26 or something like that.
Okay. A little late bloomer.
Sam Rosen said his name like 5 times in like less than 5 minutes in the first period, and I was just like, "Oh, this motherfucker, this guy is getting ready to score and ruin my night." Gets an assist. Ooh, what?
I'm just looking at the stat. On the goal he scored against you, it was from Marchand and Devils legend Jesper Broquest.
Yeah,
that's my man. I miss Bogey on this team. He was solid for this team. I can't even. He was solid bottom 6 guy. I mean, shit, good for him. I know he's been bouncing around from back and forth from Providence to Boston all year, so good for him. Shit, that's his 8th assist of the year. I mean, good for Bogey.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, good for Boquist.
Good for Bogey.
Sure, man. Sure, good for this guy.
You don't understand the Boquest fucking thing. I mean, yes, we still got Devils fans talking about how we should never got rid of him and shit. I mean, and again, as being a fan, just some players just stay in your like your lore. I mean, shit
yeah, no, I can rattle off a bunch of Rangers legends, but like,
oh, absolutely,
like Matt Pumple, come on down, but like Jesus Christ, I've never heard of this fucking Brazeau guy. He's played 15 games this year. Like, I've never fucking heard of this guy.
I never heard of him.
This is some bullshit. This is his first year, and I was just like, yeah, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. He's gonna score the goal to ruin my night. And
although I can't say that because that would. If we had somebody that was a Bruins fan on here, they would know exactly who the fuck this guy is.
Because, of course they would.
I mean,
but guess what? You're
being a New York
only one.
We can't say nothing because again, there's a lot of players that are on our teams that were like, oh yeah, this guy, and people from other teams are like, who? And it's like, oh no, you don't know fucking this guy. I mean, shit.
Come on,
right
man.
now, you know how I feel about down the Devils is. I'm gonna fuck this name up again. Is Hakata. Hakata is
Hataka.
Hataka. Where a fucking name? This dude is like if they take him out of lineup, the Devils fans go nuts because they're always blaming Brendan Smith for anything.
What you mean you don't know Alexander Holtz, 4th line legend, 4th line merchant?
Hey, scored a goal the other night. Yeah. Really good goal too. I mean, fucking right off the rebound. I mean, got to give it to him. But and you think that everyone loves Holtz, and then you realize like some of the trade rumors that were going around for him, and you're really kicking yourself in the ass right now because I know some of those trade proposals that included him. I was on board with like, yes, please, goodbye.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You're a good kid, and yeah, no, goodbye. We could have got. You could have traded him. The rumors were for like a Hellebuck or for like a Gibson at a few months ago. For all these guys, and you didn't pull the trigger, so now you're stuck with them, and you're like, I mean, you got it again. 1st round pick, you got to give him time to develop. I mean, again, and
he's still young.
and he was in Ruff's doghouse for some strange reason. So let's give him another year. See how his development turns out. I mean.
How do we keep
Alexander Holtz?
How do we keep
Devils
getting back
legend.
to the Devils? How do we always do this? Every episode, it's always the Devil.
Because
we find a way to get back to the Devils. Fuck the Devils. Or Tevy Panarin had a hat trick in Boston. Fuck Boston.
Fuck Boston. Fuck Devils. Fuck everyone.
Uh, you you
Don't
gotta
worry.
you gotta consider Panarin for the Hart. You gotta. What are you giving me that look for?
Considered yes, winning no.
Winning, no. Considered, he definitely
I
deserves
if he's
nomination.
if he's a finalist this year, I would I'd be down with that because again he's been very consistent this year and he's up to 41 goals. I mean shit.
Career highs in goals and points. He's getting ready to hit 100.
Yeah,
Like the first time he's done that like he's the first time he's done that in his career. It As an undrafted player, you don't see a lot of that often. Like
no,
he's actively been the one player on this team that has contributed to his team the most and has gotten them to where they were, or not even where they were, where they are.
where they are right now. No, absolutely.
Like Austin Matthews has been consistently good,
Oh, absolutely.
but like, what has he done to deserve a Hart? Score 70 goals? That's not. Yeah, that's impressive, but like
Very.
to be considered for the Hart,
No, again.
McDavid to be considered for the Hart, I
Yeah.
guess. Kucherov to be considered for the Hart, he couldn't even consider to show up for a fucking fun time at an All-Star competition.
No. Yeah.
You think he's gonna care? This is a player that actually fucking cares about shit.
No, I can agree with that.
But
I mean,
fucking Super Poppy and fucking Connor, white boy Connor, is gonna fucking. It's a joke.
no, I know, of course. I don't.
And like,
Go all you want, baby.
and like, those are gonna get the considerations because they do the same shit every fucking year.
Yeah.
I
No, I can.
get out of here with that.
Again, those awards sometimes are based on popularity. I would say. I mean, points, popularity. It's like MVPs in all sports. They're basically gonna go with the most popular player of that year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, Kucherov has the points lead. He's up to what 122, I think it says 121, but
122.
122. So he's gonna be on the list for it. McKinnon's gonna be up there, of course. McDavid's 112. His problem is the terrible start that Edmonton got off to. I mean, but still 120. I mean, but you figure between those top three guys, I mean, at 100 points, you still got Pasternak with
The
99.
only person I could genuinely consider winning the Hart over Artemi Panarin is Nathan McKinnon.
I would take again because he comes to play every goddamn game. At least the games I've seen, he always comes to play. I mean,
yeah, like
at least I think.
It's to
again,
consider
who else-
anybody besides McKinnon or Panarin for the Hart is just a popularity contest at that point.
No, I can agree. Like I said, and you're right. McDavid's gonna get be a finalist just because of his name.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he's 30 points. He's gonna be nah, which is where I think, like I said, they probably would go for finalists Kucherov, McKinnon, and McDavid, which I can agree. And I hate to say, like I said, Panarin does need to be considered. And
But then if you're doing Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, just create an award for the most points at the end of the regular season. Oh, and hey, guess what? That's not that hard.
no, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, like I said, other sports they have, you have your MVPs, especially football. I know football is the big one, where you have your MVP, who is the MVP of the league.
Oh yeah.
And then you have
guess what?
then you have your offensive player of the year.
You don't even need the fucking trophy. I forget. You have the trophy.
Oh,
it's
that's
the
right,
Art
yes.
fucking Ross.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So you got to yes, you got to take the heart into consideration. I mean, like I said, those three again, but that's how sports are nowadays. I'm hoping he gets at least to become a finalist. Again, he's not going to win, but it's good to see him up there with some of those top players. And right now, like I said, being fifth in points, totally deserves to be definitely in the conversation and should be a finalist,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
but yeah, gang, it's some bullshit going on over at the NHL as always, but it's about time that we wrap it up for this week. There's been a little bit of a slowness with NHL news now that the trade deadline's passed.
Yeah.
Right now, one game going on. It's a 4-4 game between Minnesota and St. Louis with 5 in the third. But we got a couple games on the docket here on this Saturday and a couple games coming up later on in the week. Monday's a slow hockey day for anybody that's concerned with only 2 games. But we'll talk to you more as those games come on and as the weeks pass through.
Yep, and we got a nice little. I mean, said if you're a hockey fan, if you're listening to this, we got a nice little lineup today. It said Panthers Rangers is going to be a really good game. The Oilers Maple Leafs is going to be really good. Even just
game.
it's going to be really good. I mean, let's see, we got the rest of them are kind of mid.
Game of the night before we send everybody off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh boy, let's see.
From the SAP Center in California, the San Jose Sharks take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Tune into that game, everybody. But also tune into our YouTube page. Tune into our social medias at What the Puck Pod. Me and Gunk both love yous all from the bottom of our fucking hearts. We hope to see you guys next week, and we love yous. Peace.
Peace.